and welcome to Change Happens, a weekly gathering of things that I found entertaining, informative, or thoughtful as I made my way through the digital cave that is the interweb.
All right, let's do this thing. Change Happens, Volume 103. Have a great day and find your way. November 17th, 2024, from the walls of the digital cave. Hi, when do our toys become our things? I had heard that I shouldn't play with your things, but your things were so much more in every way than my toys. They were so strong, so shiny, so interesting to hold. I watched you carefully while you played with them. I had to. They were your toys, clearly. One day I may call my toys my things and forget that it is play I do with them, but I would rather not. Change Happens is, in part, brought to you by a father and a daughter discussing matters. Hyperventilating the podcast, entertaining, thoughtful, and informative. Join us every Wednesday. Villains and their enemies. Headline: Whistleblower, definition and examples. From the article. In 1883, for example, a story in the Janesville, Wisconsin Gazette called a police officer who used a whistle to warn citizens of a riot in progress a whistleblower. In the 1960s, journalists began using the single word whistleblower to refer to people who revealed wrongdoing, such as American civic activist Ralph Nader, to avoid the negative connotations found in other words such as informant and snitch. Often people who reveal the truth are punished, sometimes to beyond the grave, only to be found to have done great good for the collected masses. Edward Snowden, for example, shouldn't still be living in forced exile in Russia. Even the American Supreme Court has sided with him as far as deciding that what he revealed was most likely illegal and probably unconstitutional, and definitely an affront to privacy. Headline: Optical illusions and why they trick your brain. From the article. Optical illusions play tricks on your brain and can make you see things that aren't really there, from static images swirling around the page to images that stay with you even after you look away. Scientifically, researchers use optical illusions to gain insight into how humans see and process visual information, although the mechanisms behind many of them are still a mystery. Many of these images you've probably seen multiple times before, but they never grow old, in my opinion. I find it fascinating that our mind can trick us to such a degree that a static image can appear to move. It speaks to how carefully we need to consider what is real. Plus, they're really fun. Working together. Headline: Scientists drop Gophers onto Mount St. Helens for one day. 40 years later, the effect is astonishing. From the article. Plant life struggled to return to the area around Mount St. Helens, now under a layer of pumice fragments. While the top layers of soil were destroyed by the eruption and lava flows, the soil underneath could still be rich in bacteria and fungi. More than anything, this article is a very clear indication of how quickly nature can recover from catastrophes, natural and unnatural. How profoundly efficient the mechanisms that drive our planet are. November 14th, 1889. Nellie Bly, Around the World in 72 days. From the Wiki Rabbit Hole. Committed to the asylum, Bly experienced the deplorable conditions firsthand. After 10 days, the asylum released Bly at the world's behest. Her report, published October 9, 1887, and later in book form as 10 Days in a Madhouse, caused a sensation, prompted the asylum to implement reforms, and brought her lasting fame. Nellie Bly had a significant impact on American culture and shed light on the experiences of marginalized women beyond the bounds of the asylum as she ushered in the era of stunt girl journalism. She's a very interesting person, well worth investigating. Insect imitation. Headline: Functioning mechanical gears seen in nature for the first time. From the article. Previously believed to be only man-made, a natural example of a functioning gear mechanism has been discovered in a common insect, showing that evolution developed interlocking cogs long before we did. This is amazing. The symmetry between the way things occur in nature and subsequently in human invention is crazy. Prior to this discovery, we had never seen evidence of mechanical gears in nature. Is everything then naturally invented? It appears that the math of the thing exists whether we see it or not. Evolving language. Headline: English words with interesting origins. From the article. Although English is primarily a Germanic language in terms of grammar and basic vocabulary, over time it has evolved and absorbed vocabulary from several other languages, including Latin, Ancient Greek, and Old French, to name a few. The English language's history is complex. Various factors such as trade, cultural exchange, conquest, and globalization have shaped its vocabulary. I just find it interesting how voracious a consumer of words from other languages English is. An alternative to starvation. Headline: Bugs to eat in a survival situation and 4 you want to avoid. From the article. A good chunk of the world are fine eating the nearly 2,000 species of edible bugs that share the globe with us. Anthropologists say early man depended on them. According to Pliny the Elder, Roman aristocrats were fond of beetle larvae, reared on flour and wine. Aristotle was of the opinion that female cicada larvae, when they were full of white eggs, were the best eating. If you find yourself in a situation where your life depends upon consuming bugs, you've probably made a wrong turn. But should this unfortunate circumstance become a reality, it's best to know which ones will help you live and which ones will help you die. So long as men worship the Caesars and Napoleons, Caesars and Napoleons will duly rise and make them miserable. Aldous Huxley. Well, thanks for joining me, and I look forward to next time.
When we meet again inside the spectacular human repository of everything and nothing, it's your life, you understand.